Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to delve into a topic that cuts to the core of human relationships: betrayal. Betrayal is one of the most painful experiences we can endure, and its impact can linger for years, even decades. As we age, the weight of these betrayals becomes even more significant because time is no longer on our side. The title of this speech, In Old Age, Never Forgive These 7 Betrayals in Relationships, is not about holding on to bitterness or resentment. It's about recognizing the value of your own dignity, self-respect, and emotional well-being. It's about understanding that some actions are so destructive, so fundamentally harmful, that forgiving them would mean betraying yourself. Betrayal of trust is one of the most profound and damaging experiences in any relationship. It strikes at the very core of what makes human connections meaningful: the belief that someone has your back, that they will act in your best interest, and that they will honor the bond you share. When that trust is broken, it can feel like the ground has been ripped out from under you. The emotional fallout can be devastating, leaving you questioning not just the relationship, but your own judgment and ability to trust others. Trust is not something that is given lightly. It is earned over time through consistent actions, honesty, and reliability. When someone betrays that trust, they are not just breaking a promise, they are shattering the foundation of the relationship. This is why betrayal of trust is so painful. It undermines the very essence of what makes the relationship meaningful. It's not just about the specific act of betrayal, it's about what that act represents: a disregard for the bond you share. One of the most common forms of betrayal is lying. Whether it's a small white lie or a significant deception, lying erodes trust because it introduces doubt. If someone is willing to lie about one thing, what else might they be lying about? This doubt can spread like a virus, infecting every aspect of the relationship. It creates a sense of instability and uncertainty, making it difficult to feel secure or confident in the connection. Another form of betrayal is broken promises. When someone makes a commitment and then fails to follow through, it sends a message that your needs and expectations are not a priority. This can be particularly damaging in close relationships where trust is built on the belief that the other person will be there for you. When that belief is shattered, it can leave you feeling abandoned and undervalued. Betrayal of trust can also take the form of secrecy or withholding information. In healthy relationships, there is a sense of openness and transparency. When someone deliberately hides something important, it creates a barrier between you. This secrecy can feel like a betrayal because it suggests that the other person does not trust you enough to be honest, or that they are prioritizing their own interests over the relationship. Infidelity is perhaps the most well-known form of betrayal, and for good reason. It strikes at the heart of romantic relationships, where trust is often most vulnerable. Infidelity is not just a betrayal of physical intimacy, it is a betrayal of emotional intimacy as well. It undermines the exclusivity and commitment that are the cornerstones of a romantic partnership, leaving the betrayed partner feeling rejected, humiliated, and deeply hurt. Financial betrayal is another form of trust violation that can have serious consequences. Whether it's hiding debt, making unauthorized purchases, or misusing shared resources, financial betrayal can create a sense of insecurity and mistrust. Money is often tied to feelings of safety and stability, so when that safety is compromised, it can feel like a profound betrayal. Betrayal of trust can also occur in friendships, where the stakes may be different, but the pain is just as real. Friends are supposed to be allies, confidants, and sources of support. When a friend betrays your trust, whether through gossip, disloyalty, or abandonment, it can feel like a deep personal wound. Friendships are often built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding, so when that foundation is shaken, it can be difficult to rebuild. In professional relationships, betrayal of trust can take the form of backstabbing, stealing credit, or breaking confidentiality. These actions can damage not just your career, but your sense of self-worth. Professional relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and collaboration, so when that trust is broken, It can create a toxic work environment and undermine your ability to perform. The impact of betrayal of trust is not just emotional, it can also have physical and psychological consequences. The stress of betrayal can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. It can also affect your ability to trust others in the future, creating a cycle of suspicion and isolation. This is why betrayal of trust is so damaging. It doesn't just affect the present, it can have long-lasting repercussions. Rebuilding trust after a betrayal is possible, but it requires effort, honesty, and a willingness to change. The person who betrayed the trust must take full responsibility for their actions, demonstrate genuine remorse, and make a consistent effort to rebuild the relationship. The betrayed person must also be willing to forgive, but forgiveness should not be given lightly. It should be earned through actions, not just words. Ultimately, betrayal of trust is a violation of the fundamental principles that underpin healthy relationships: honesty, respect, and mutual support. When someone betrays your trust, they are not just breaking a promise, they are undermining the very foundation of the relationship. This is why betrayal of trust is so painful and why it can be so difficult to recover from. It's not just about the specific act of betrayal, it's about what that act represents: a disregard for the bond you share. Betrayal of trust is a deeply personal and painful experience, but it is also an opportunity for growth and self-reflection. It forces you to reevaluate your relationships, your boundaries, and your own values. It challenges you to demand the respect and honesty you deserve, and to let go of those who cannot meet those standards. In this way, betrayal of trust can be a catalyst for positive change, but only if you are willing to learn from the experience and move forward with clarity and purpose. Exploitation of vulnerability is one of the most insidious forms of betrayal, as it preys on the very qualities that make us human: our openness, our trust, and our need for connection. Vulnerability is a natural part of life. It's what allows us to form deep, meaningful relationships and to seek support when we need it. But when someone takes advantage of that vulnerability, they violate not just our trust, but our sense of safety and self-worth. This kind of betrayal cuts deep, leaving scars that can take years to heal. Vulnerability often arises in moments of weakness or need, times when we are most open to help and support. It could be during a period of emotional distress, financial hardship, or physical illness. In these moments, we let our guard down, trusting that those around us will act with kindness and integrity. But when someone exploits that vulnerability, they turn a moment of openness into an opportunity for manipulation or gain. This betrayal is particularly painful because it occurs when we are least equipped to defend ourselves. One common form of exploitation is emotional manipulation. This occurs when someone uses your vulnerability to control or influence your behavior. They might play on your fears, insecurities, or guilt to get what they want, whether it's attention, compliance, or forgiveness. Emotional manipulation is especially damaging because it undermines your sense of autonomy and self-worth. It makes you question your own judgment and can leave you feeling trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. Financial exploitation is another form of vulnerability abuse. This occurs when someone takes advantage of your financial situation for their own gain. It could be a family member who pressures you for money, a partner who mismanages shared resources, or a scam artist who preys on your trust. Financial exploitation is particularly devastating because it can leave you not just emotionally hurt, but financially unstable. It erodes your sense of security and can make it difficult to trust others in the future. Exploitation of vulnerability can also occur in professional settings. This might involve a colleague or superior who takes advantage of your eagerness to please or your fear of losing your job. They might overload you with work, take credit for your ideas, or pressure you into unethical behavior. This kind of exploitation can create a toxic work environment and undermine your confidence and career prospects. In romantic relationships, exploitation of vulnerability can take many forms. It might involve a partner who uses your insecurities to control or manipulate you, or someone who takes advantage of your emotional openness for their own gratification. This kind of betrayal is particularly painful because it occurs in a context where trust and intimacy are supposed to be paramount. It can leave you feeling used, devalued, and deeply hurt. Exploitation of vulnerability can also occur in friendships. A friend might take advantage of your loyalty or generosity, using your willingness to help as a way to further their own interests. They might manipulate your emotions to gain sympathy or support, or betray your confidence for their own benefit. This kind of betrayal can be especially painful because friendships are supposed to be based on mutual respect and support. Another form of vulnerability exploitation is gaslighting. This occurs when someone manipulates you into doubting your own perceptions, memories, or sanity. They might deny things they've said or done, twist the truth, or blame you for their actions. Gaslighting is particularly damaging because it undermines your sense of reality and self-trust. It can leave you feeling confused, isolated, and powerless. Exploitation of vulnerability can also occur in caregiving relationships. This might involve a caregiver who takes advantage of a vulnerable person's dependence, whether it's an elderly parent, a disabled individual, or a child. This kind of exploitation is particularly egregious because it occurs in a context where the vulnerable person is relying on the caregiver for their basic needs and well-being. The impact of exploitation of vulnerability is not just emotional, it can also have long-term consequences for your mental and physical health. The stress of being exploited can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. It can also affect your ability to trust others and form healthy relationships in the future. This is why exploitation of vulnerability is so damaging. It doesn't just affect the present, it can have long-lasting repercussions. Recognizing and addressing exploitation of vulnerability requires a strong sense of self-awareness and self-respect. It involves setting clear boundaries and being willing to enforce them, even when it's difficult. It also requires a willingness to seek support and stand up for yourself, whether it's through therapy, legal action, or simply walking away from the relationship. Ultimately, exploitation of vulnerability is a violation of the fundamental principles of trust, respect, and mutual support. It preys on the very qualities that make us human and leaves us feeling betrayed and devalued. But it is also an opportunity for growth and self-reflection. It challenges us to demand the respect and integrity we deserve, and to let go of those who cannot meet those standards. In this way, exploitation of vulnerability can be a catalyst for positive change, but only if we are willing to learn from the experience and move forward with clarity and purpose. Exploitation of vulnerability is a deeply personal and painful experience, but it is also a reminder of the importance of self-respect and self-care. It forces us to reevaluate our relationships, our boundaries, and our own values. It challenges us to demand the respect and honesty we deserve and to let go of those who cannot meet those standards. In this way, exploitation of vulnerability can be a catalyst for positive